This one single factor is likely to send Bitcoin into the 6-digit zone by the end of the year. Yes, 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 I am talking about the $100,000 Bitcoin. It's coming. It's coming, and it's likely to come by the end of the year. There is one major factor that is going to drive so much money into Bitcoin when it happens. So in this video, I'll be breaking that down for you. My name's Lark. Every day I make videos talking about cryptocurrency investing. So if that's a topic that you'd like to learn some more about, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Gently tap on the thumbs up button, and of course, click on the notification bell to know when I put out a new video. Now let's start off today by having a look here at the charts. This is the Bitcoin one-day charts. We are still watching for the 200-day moving average, day 8 of the 200-day moving average watch. Well, unfortunately, we have not managed to crack that line yet. This, of course, is the key bull-bear line that we're watching for right now. We had a fake out here. Test here, just a little peek above it here before being rejected, coming back down. This is the line that the bulls need to retake in order for us to really bring that bullish momentum strongly back into the market for Bitcoin. Now, altcoins have been doing very well in terms of recovery. Many of those are still trading above their 200-day moving averages. Just the big boy, Bitcoin, has been struggling here recently. Now, what we could see until, of course, we do retake the 200-day moving average is that we could still see some lower prices coming in. There still are potentially some good opportunities to buy some Bitcoin here. So watching this key trend line here, we still could see the price coming back down here. Now, I would like to see the price not go any lower than around $34,000, bouncing back up, trying to test the 200-day moving average again. That would be a nice scenario, but you have to keep it real with this market right now. We are so fragile that a little bit of wind can spook the market. We can see here the volume has been not super awesome during this entire move. So obviously we had a lot of volume on the sell-off. In fact, that was one of the biggest volume spikes ever for Bitcoin on that recent sell-off. But the volume right now not looking super hot. So we can see where the volume is not much higher than when we kind of had the market turn over here previously. So people right now are a bit concerned with the market. This is what the volume is showing me. Traders have not committed heavily into the markets. They likely won't commit in a very serious way until we do cross back above that 200-day moving average to show that the bulls are back in charge. And a lot of people will also be watching for lower price targets to come in, hoping that we can scoop up some more cheap Bitcoin before it inevitably heads off to the moon. What I want to see to really say technically, at a technical level, that Bitcoin is looking very bullish again is a definitive daily candle closing above the 200-day moving average with volume to back it up. No volume, and you're not really going to convince me that this is a serious breakout. So hopefully we do see that happening here in the near future. But you know what? I am ready to buy some more dip if we do get it. I have not yet fully deployed my stable coins, far from it in fact, so I would gobble up a little bit more Bitcoin, just a nibble, if we do come back down to test some of these lower prices. My hope would be that if Bitcoin does come back down here, it also tanks the rest of the altcoins right along with it, and I can buy up some cheap altcoins as well. That would be very nice. But you don't get so many opportunities necessarily to buy up the dips during these kind of market events, so let me hope that we do get some more sweet buying opportunities coming in the not so distant future. But this is what we're watching for. This is what I'll continue to be watching for in the coming days and weeks. This is, in my mind, one of the most important things that we need to be watching as investors right now. By the way, if you want to trade some Bitcoin or some Ethereum or some Cardano or whatever your fancy might be, you need to get yourselves an account over on Femex. It is the best futures trading platform in the game. Now, if you sign up for your Femex account using the link down below in the description, you'll get 10% off of your trading fees and up to $150 in bonuses. That is for doing your first trades, as well as making your first deposits. So you actually get a bigger bonus using my link versus the standard bonus that you will get. So that brings you up to $150 in total trading bonuses that you can get. So if you are a trader, then go ahead and check that out. Now, before we get into the big news of today, I did want to share this PayPal news with you. So in the not so distant future, PayPal is going to let users send Bitcoin off of their platform. Now, one of the biggest criticisms when PayPal announced that they're launching this cryptocurrency buying and selling service was that it's a custodial service. Now, you got to keep it real for most people. A custodial service is probably what most people want. It's the exact reason why people buy Bitcoin on Coinbase and it never leaves Coinbase. It's just there. So PayPal letting people take their crypto off, it's a good thing. It's a positive thing. I like that they're bringing in this option. I'm not sure that most PayPal users will take advantage of that option, but it's great that they're letting people do it because it removes one of the biggest criticisms from PayPal's crypto service, and it will probably bring in more users as they continue to roll out their cryptocurrency related offerings. So that's pretty gosh darn cool. Anyway, let's get into the big news. I just want to mention the PayPal news real quick. Let's get into the big news, and that is about the Bitcoin ETF. This is the thing, the one thing that is going to send Bitcoin to the freaking moon in 2021. So right now, at this time, the SEC has 6 Bitcoin ETFs under review. So that means they're currently looking at 6 different Bitcoin ETFs, including some of the most prestigious and popular ones, like the Fidelity Bitcoin ETF. I mean, it's Fidelity. It's one of the biggest asset managers in the world trying to get a Bitcoin ETF. The SEC is going to say yes to one of these companies at some point. Now, these are just 6 that they are currently looking at in review. There's actually, I think, 11 or 12 Bitcoin ETF applications in with the SEC. It's just that they're currently reviewing 6 of them. So with some of the current offerings, they're so serious, they're so professional, they're being launched by the world's biggest asset managers like Fidelity. Skybridge is a big company. We have NYDIG, the New York Digital Investment Group. They're also going after a Bitcoin ETF. We have VanEck, which has been trying to get a Bitcoin ETF for freaking ages. These guys are going to get a Bitcoin ETF. It's only a question of when is that going to happen. Because when the Bitcoin ETF does happen, and it will happen at some point, it's going to just ignite the markets beyond what you can probably imagine. Now, a lot of people have said that, well, the Bitcoin ETF, that's going to be the top signal for the market. That's when the bear market is going to begin. I don't think so. I think we'll see a bear market begin a few months after a Bitcoin ETF is approved, or of course, there's always the possibility that the Bitcoin ETF is actually going to be what leads us into a super cycle for Bitcoin, where it just pumps and pumps and pumps, and the entire crypto market just goes crazier than you could possibly imagine. Now, why would I say such a crazy thing when the launch of Bitcoin futures in 2017 marked the top of the market? Well, futures and ETFs are incredibly different beasts. Futures contracts are cash settled, not backed by Bitcoin in any way, simply trading off of the price going up or the price going down. Everything is settled in cash. A Bitcoin ETF is completely different because every Bitcoin ETF that represents 1 Bitcoin has to be backed by 1 Bitcoin. These are physically backed products. This is a game changer because U.S. equity markets represent around 52-53% of all global equity markets. So a Bitcoin ETF coming into the USA, incredibly big, incredibly bullish. Look at how bullish it's been just for Canada. The Canadian Bitcoin ETFs have been going crazy, very popular with investors, and Canada only represents 2% of global equity markets. So the United States represents 52 or 53%, depending on the day. So that is a heck of a lot more than the Canadian market, which means that when we see a Bitcoin ETF launch in the USA, unimaginable amounts of money are going to start flooding into the market. And of course, we have an Ethereum ETF also under application at the SEC, but I think we're getting ahead of ourselves talking about an Ethereum ETF at this stage. The Bitcoin ETF, it will be the first one to be approved, and with 11 or 12 applications in, 6 currently under review, it is only a matter of time. By the way, I just have a quick funny anecdote to share with you. So Jay Clayton, the last SEC top dog and chairman, the man that refused every Bitcoin ETF that came across his desk, he said that Bitcoin is subject to too much manipulation. He is now joined a hedge fund and advising that hedge fund in its application for a freaking Bitcoin ETF. Come on, man. Come on. That is redonkulous. It's either that Jay Clayton now magically believes a few months after he left office where he refused every Bitcoin ETF ever, that now, magically, the conditions have changed, that Bitcoin ETF approval makes sense, or he's just grabbing that money. He's taking that money. It's pretty funny, though, that Jay Clayton is now advising for a Bitcoin ETF after shooting them down for freaking years. Anyway, fun anecdote aside, why is a Bitcoin ETF so damn bullish for crypto? Why do I believe that a Bitcoin ETF, far from starting a new bear market, is going to lead to Bitcoin pumping beyond your wildest imaginations, going into the 6-digit zone, is because of what happened to gold. Now, gold, when it got its ETF back in 2004 on US equity markets, they actually got the first one in 2003 on Australian markets, but that's a different story. When they got to US markets, actually maybe it is very relevant because we saw Canada get their Bitcoin ETF first. In fact, Australia is probably going to get their Bitcoin ETF before the United States does. But we had a smaller market approve a gold ETF before America approved a gold ETF. So in 2004, we got a gold ETF approved in the United States. Now that gold ETF, when it was approved, the price of gold over the next 4 or 5 years went up by 400%. That's a pretty big gain. So essentially, the market cap of gold went from around $2 trillion up to around $10 trillion. Pretty big move, right? Pretty gosh darn big move. I think we're going to see the same thing happening with Bitcoin when it launches. There will be volatility, there will be all kinds of craziness, as there always is with Bitcoin. But when we see that Bitcoin ETF launch, I think we're going to see the price rise by hundreds of percent over the next year or two. It's going to move faster than it did with gold. You have to remember that when the gold ETF launched back in 2004, I mean, those were different times. Those were different times. Not as many people were trading as they are now. I mean, if you had a gold ETF launch for the first time ever today, all the people on Robinhood and stuff would be piling into it. It would go totally crazy. Probably a lot quicker than it did back then. When this Bitcoin ETF launches, it is going to be a damn big deal. I'm very bullish on the launch of this because it brings so much more money into the market. All those brokerage accounts and hedge funds and all these different players who may not want to buy and hold Bitcoin directly themselves because of key management or security issues, or they might be restricted by what their fund can and cannot do. They're going to buy the ETFs like crazy. Canada has proved the popularity of Bitcoin ETFs. The US is going to be the price catalyst for a Bitcoin ETF. When it launches, it's going to go crazy. And of course, the long-term target for Bitcoin is the market cap of gold. Now, Kathy Wood, the CEO of ARK Invest, she came out the other day. She said that she believes that Bitcoin is still going to go to $500,000. That is approximately getting it up to the market cap of gold. She also said that the recent market correction increases the odds of a Bitcoin ETF being approved. Now, ARK Invest has been on the cutting edge of innovation and technology, as well as what the heck is going on, and their bullish predictions for the different assets they've been investing in have been coming true for a while. So a $500,000 Bitcoin would not surprise me. In fact, that is where I am approximately targeting for a Bitcoin price over the next few years, especially once we see that ETF coming in and bringing in all of that extra money along with it. Anyway, those are just my 2 Satoshis for today. Your question: do you think we will see a Bitcoin ETF approved this year? If so, do you think it's going to pump the price like crazy? And if you don't believe that a Bitcoin ETF is going to be approved this year, why not? Let me know down below in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching today's video, and peace out till next time.